please rise for the pledge and join us? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the Board of Trustees public session, July 25th. We start off with public comment, and it looks like Dan Feinberg.
Good evening. I have an extensive study here, lengthy. Doug Feinberg, 135 Lewis Street. I'd like to address the parking lot that's off of Wall Street behind La Charlotte Restaurant. And as you can see, the traffic flow comes in to the parking lot and then heads east on both to the north and the south sides of the middle island. And to me, it just never made sense, particularly since you're always supposed to stay to the right when you're driving. And on page 2, you can see how the flow probably should go and how the parking spaces should line up.
Good point.
It's too simple.
I'm sorry.
I hate simplicity.
I mean, I've been waiting for somebody to figure out for the past, many years, and nobody has, so I figured I'd bring it up.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah. And I think it's a simple fix as well.
Yeah.
Some striping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe, Gary, you could take a look at this and we'll leave you a copy.
I don't have an extra copy, so.
I think I brought 6, didn't I?
I get the picture. Right, I see it.
Yeah, sure. So this is the way it goes now. If you're coming in from Wall Street or from the Fillingham's parking lot, and then the traffic flows this way, as opposed to if you come in and stay to the right, and if traffic comes in and you continue around, and then you can go back out either way.
Right.
Make sense?
Well, it does. It does. Generally, what we tried to have is people would come through both parking lots, and they would try to sneak their way through to get here, to get out.
Right.
So I think that's why it was set up that way.
I'm guilty of that. I told you
I
earlier.
just want to mention that we just did a parking lot study there, and we have 3 different drafts of improvements we're going to do to that parking lot.
Okay.
I don't have them with me tonight, but I can certainly show them to you, or we could meet and discuss them. But we looked at the parking lot because we want to make improvements on this lot by Fillingham's, which is in bad shape, and we're trying to increase parking there.
Mm-hmm.
So we are looking at this whole area.
Okay. Okay.
But I will have to say, because I do cut through there when I'm going over to the Historic Museum, you're right, because when you come through and you take that immediate left, and there's someone coming around the other way, if there had been a flow of traffic, now you have 2 people who are trying to get through. I'm going this
Head to
way,
head.
they're going this way.
Right.
It's you can't do it.
Right.
You have to back up, pull over, let them
Somebody's
go.
got to,
Yeah. So
give
that if
way.
we had a flow there, it would be better.
Exactly. Because if you come off of, I think, what is that, Oak Street, and you come in, and naturally you're going to stay to the right of the island, and then you're heading into traffic.
Yeah. Coming at you.
Yeah, exactly. Or even to park, the parallel parking, you're going the opposite way.
The other thing I want to bring up, we talked about that, and I think I've talked about this before, the parking lot that is, goes back to the parking lot, if you're coming off of it, next to the building that I'm in. I'm not saying this because I'm in this building, but I sit in that building and I watch how many people exit from there. it clearly says no exit, but a lot of people exit from there. And I think part of the reason why they exit from there is because now that Pine Street is a one-way street, especially during the school year, when parents are all parked there to pick up their children, it backs up and you cannot get out of there. You either have to go over to Cameron by that little side street and then cut around and go through the parking lot that we're talking about, or you have to just wait there for a very long period of time because people double park and triple park to pick up their children. So I think a lot of people try and exit there, but if we could, it's wide. I mean, there's enough parking. The back of the cars, there's still a lot of room there. There's room for two-way traffic there. I just felt like if we had an exit there, but not an exit that allows you to cross over to head west, only east.
Right turn only.
Right turn only, it might alleviate a lot of that. And it's been a thought of mine. I mentioned it to the board at one point, and we really haven't discussed it again.
We
And maybe
have
the
changed
chief.
signage there, but it's all
Well,
being
it's
ignored.
still no exit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm looking for an exit there, but only a right turn only. Now, we all know that that means there will be lots of people who will make left turns, but they're making them now. I hate to say it. Yeah. So, I mean, that's something we need to think about, because I think it would ease up all of that traffic behind Citarella, the school, now that Pine Street is no longer a two-way street, it does back up. And the only way you can get away from it is to go through that parking lot, because you can't go down Cameron, because then you're right in the middle of the school again, or go out that way. So, something we need to consider, and maybe the police department, I don't know if we do a study on it or what.
Yeah, I mean, for my part, I'd be happy to look at your suggestion and show you the plans that I had done.
Okay.
And we could talk about all those parking lots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you have some things planned for them, don't you?
We do. We haven't made any determinations yet. We've just gotten the plans in the last 2 weeks, and we just have to pick what works best for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
Thought of resurfacing that parking lot too, because it's...
Yes, that's what started this whole thing. Actually, we're back to the Fellingham's area again. There's some big craters in there. The drainage is sinking. There's a lot of improvement that needs to be done.
Is that lot owned by the village, or is that Chemical Bank?
You have a lease.
Or Chase Bank?
You
Or
just-
we have it? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public would like to make a comment? Jay?
Hi, my name is Jay Deasing, a resident of the village at 109 Old Town Crossing, and also president of the Southampton Association. Just wanted to ask the board to revisit the AB Studio zoning plan, because I think Glynis Berry did some fabulous work for the village. There obviously are still some issues that are out there that I think we need to look at. One of the misconceptions seems to be that there's no problem in larger lots, and I think most people who have driven on Gin Lane or Meadow Lane now would probably disagree with that. We probably need to revisit the percentage that is allowed in terms of the buildable width of houses. And, you know, the village is 40% average on the streets that we particularly like Post Crossing, it's less than that. And yet we're seeing some sections on Meadow Lane now where the build out is 85%. And so these houses are sprawling one into another, and it's really eliminating any sense of space or distance between the houses. And that is something that I think Southampton has always been so renowned for, is the sense of space, the sense of openness. And I think we want to try and avoid sort of a West Hampton Beach Dunes look. And I think Glynis had some great ideas. She's worked in fabulous areas, and everybody that I've spoken with about her have said fabulous things about her her viewpoints, her thinking, and the process that she's put into it. So I really would hope that the board will take a look again at that study, because she did a tremendous amount of work. I think the village paid a reasonable amount of money for that, and I think we should get some good use out of it, because there's still work to do. So thank you, and appreciate the effort.
Thank you, Jay. Anybody else with any comment? Okay, moving ahead, we have a board presentation. Gary?
Okay, so I am here hopefully to ask for the last piece of equipment this year for the DPW.
Did you get that down?
Yep. I had to sign an affidavit in my office.
I am looking tonight to purchase a garbage truck for the village of Southampton. We have two trucks. We have a 2003 Isuzu, and we have a 2008 truck, a Nissan. The 2008 truck has 53,000 miles on it, and the 2003 only has 28,000 miles on it, because nobody likes to drive that truck. The main difference is the older truck is a side loader. Basically, there's a wall about 5 feet tall that somebody has to pick the garbage can up manually, put over their shoulder, and dump into the garbage. And what kind of happens is we're getting a little back strain from a lot of the employees. And in the summer months, we're getting a lot of garbage juice that's just dousing the employees. So the easy alternative is to go to the newer truck, which is a rear loader and only sits 3 feet high off the ground. And we can empty the trucks, all the garbage into the truck much easier. The 03 mechanically is okay. I was told by the company that I could buy a new truck from that has a value of about $10,000, but they don't want it. Everybody's going to the rear load trucks. All right. The East Hampton town has a contract out with a truck that we could buy for $106,000. That contract ends at the end of this month. If we didn't buy it off of that contract, the price would go up to about $135,000. So I'm coming to you tonight to try to buy that new truck.
Do any of these trucks have automatic loaders?
No, they don't.
Can you get a truck that has an automatic loader?
You can, but now with the rear truck, the height that it's at, you don't need that. You're simply just tipping it right into the back. The side load truck that we got was kind of here before I had my job. You know, I don't know who ordered it, maybe Pete McGrave in the beach department, and it just was not a good truck to buy.
Is
Can it
there,
be used for anything else? Sorry.
yeah, well, yeah, I was just wondering, is there a retroactive add-on that you can put for the side loader?
You can, but it's a little expensive. So I don't have a figure on it, but I heard it was going to be several $1,000s to put it on. So I don't know on a truck that age if we want to do that. Paul Murphy from...
20,000 miles on it.
Yeah, well, we did think about repurposing the truck. I was going to say the highway department thought that if we could take the packer off and scrap that and possibly put a dump body on the truck, we could continue to use that truck for a different use.
Well, that would be something good. Can we find out about that? I'm not saying that we're not looking at this, but I just want to,
Yeah,
since it has such low
we actually,
mileage.
we can. It would cost you about $12,000. So we could still use that truck. I mean, right now we're okay, but you know, we do wear trucks out, and it could be something for the future.
And the 2008, what is this, what height is the wall on that?
3 feet.
Same as this then?
Correct. The new truck you're looking at, that's a Hino truck with a rear loader, compactor. I believe it's an 8-yard, I said. And it would really just give us the same height truck. I mean, right now we need 2 trucks because on the weekend we have a garbage run at the beach and we have a garbage run in the town. And with cars parking in the way, you can't get to those cans. And if one truck goes down, because the truck runs 7 days a week, we need the second truck to load up. Years ago, we'd actually have to just start throwing garbage bags in the pickup, and it got pretty messy.
So these trucks take the garbage at the beach to our dumpsters, and then the garbage company takes their dumpster stuff?
Now, we take them directly to Norsec,
Okay,
and we empty them right into their yard.
okay, that's what I want to know.
Yep.
That's what I think the public should know.
Now, in one run around the village, do they pretty much fill an 8-yarder?
No, over the course of a weekend, they would fill probably about, maybe a little bit more on a busy summer weekend. 4th of July weekend, you might do 10 yards. So with this truck, we may have to dump it twice on a weekend.
Yeah, because 8 yards is a lot of garbage, especially if it's a compactor.
I believe our current one is 11.
One you like?
The one yes, the 2008, correct. I believe they both are, actually.
And this is an 8?
This is an 8-yard.
Is it smart to get something smaller, or do you think we should get a bigger one?
Well, we did talk about it. There are larger trucks available. They get into the 150,000 plus price tag, and my highway super is very comfortable that taking the smaller truck, more maneuverability in the little beach parking lots, that they could just empty it the second day if they had to. The other thing, yes.
Is there any trade-in value on the,
What are we going to use it?
Like I just told you, the vendor says that the worth is about 10 grand, but they don't want it. So we would probably just park it out front and sell it ourselves if we were going to sell it.
I thought we were going to repurpose it.
We can. I think that would be the smart thing to do.
It doesn't have a lot of mileage on it.
There's nothing wrong with the chassis of the truck itself.
okay.
The other issue we have, just to give you a little trouble list, is the side loader basically has a compactor, and there's a chute in the top. You throw all your garbage in, and the compactor comes along and pulls it. Any of the garbage that doesn't fit falls over the top, and then the person has to manually climb into the truck and take all that extra garbage and throw it back in. Now, employees who are very good there, they don't really have that problem, but if you're not paying attention and you put too much garbage in the chute, it happens once or twice a day.
Goes over the slide. Okay.
Are all of them compactors? All the garbage trucks?
Pretty much. Not all. You can buy a lot of different configurations. You can buy dumpster trucks if you like, but we've always had compaction trucks.
How many miles do you suppose they put on that in the summer? I mean, that's our principal use is summer month. Do we use them at all in the winter? No.
7 days a week.
We do?
Yeah. We don't do the beach run, but we have to do the garbage run through the village. I actually should say 6 days a week.
Yeah. So they get a fair amount of use, and it's not like...
But if you look at the 2008 and just say it's the 10-year-old truck, and that's 53,000 miles, so that'll give you your 5,000 a year.
So
It's
the
a lot
other
of
trucks,
garbage.
are 11 yards, and this is an 8 or 12 yards or what?
This is an 8-yarder.
So if we have to empty it twice during the summertime, then that means we have to bring somebody in to do that?
No, what we do is when the garbage run is done, we just drive the truck right to Norsec. It's the same overtime. The guy is doing the garbage on, he just drives it there, empties it, pulls back into the yard.
I'm just concerned about getting a smaller truck as opposed to the size we have, but
Yeah. The guys like the idea. It's a lower profile truck, and just they're figuring turning around inside the beach parking lots is a little tough
I understand
sometimes.
that.
We're just driving around on our roads is
You're
tough
right.
if you get a
Yeah.
bigger truck.
Yeah, the truck is, actually, it's around 105,000, but that comes white. We thought we'd paint it green to match our other truck and hide a little of that juice that kind of goes down the side.
Norsec will take it from,
Yeah.
steal it.
A little more environmental green.
Yeah, so-
Steve,
Any
how
other
are we
questions?
fixed with funds?
Well, that's one thing I'd like to hold this until later. What we have in cap reserve now, we have a lot of commitments against it. One or two things that I'm not sure are going to go through, so I'd like to defer the decision to executive.
Okay.
I do have some options that we can go through, but
The actual contract reads is that the contract we can piggyback off of until the truck is delivered to East Hampton Town, and right now that delivery date is August 1st. Okay.
We don't have a lot of time.
No, it's a nice salesman pitch, but
Yeah, I like that.
okay.
Good,
Thank you, Gary.
thanks. Moving ahead here, public hearings, we have none. Communications to the board, there's none, so we go to suggested resolutions.
Okay. I just realized that item 1, I'm going to have to hold off on because Kimberly and Bill they have to recuse themselves from that vote, and I need Rich, so that'll defer to the August 10th meeting. So we'll start with resolution number 2. Resolve that claims for warrants dated July 25th, 2017, totaling $274,573.17. Warrant 3 General Fund, $2,443.61 Warrant 3 Trust Fund, and $41,415.20 Warrant 2 Capital Reserve Fund. The village payrolls for the period ending July 20th, 2017 be ordered and approved. Can I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Second? Discussion. Item 1, Alliance System Integrators, PD camera replacement, $4,460.93. Alliance System, Dell server for the alarm system, $2,961.83. Black Bear lubricants, bulk oil for the garage, $1,384.35. Page 2, Bowden Square LLC replacement for the Southampton Social Club check, $2,000. CSE Employment Benefit Fund August premium, $27,747.72. Page 3, Coastal Fire System Scott Pack flow test for the fire department, $3,640. Cook Marin insurance installment, $1,429. Page 4, Malvisi Equipment Garage Parts, $2,386.75. Motorola Solutions flowing on to page 5. One payment for $2,790 and one payment for $18,840, both for a series of fire department portable radios. Norsec and Sons carding for the parks, $1,275. New York State Employees Health Insurance Premium, $301,395, 26 for August. Page 7, Peconic Fire Equipment, Air Bottle and Extinguisher Refills, $1,124. PSE&G Collection Services for Buildings, $3,445.42. Page 8, a series of payments to Rosemar for paving, Willow Street, $67,288.36. Linden Lane, $21,150.58. Henry Street, $23,867.50. Hunting Street, $58,194.25. And Leland Lane, $83,019.50. Page 9, Sadie Levine and Chaco, CPAs, the start of the audit for 2017, $9,941.67. Sprague Operating Reserve, 3,000 gallons of gasoline, $4,696.20. Suffolk County Water Authority hydrant rental for the fire department, $26,833.50. Vince Toomey, June legal bill, $2,732.90, and Verizon telephone bill for June, $3,699.69. Next warrant, trust warrant, awards and gifts, trophies and plaques for the 4th of July parade, $2,002.40. And the last warrant is a capital reserve, Alliance System Integrators, camera up at Windsor Way, $4,164.10. And the camera system at 25 Jobs Lane, again to Alliance, $35,952.04. High-Tech Fire and Safety, Fire Department Parkers, $7,299.06. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 3, resolve that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the attached schedule of budget transfers to eliminate overages through July 25th, 2017 for the fiscal year ending May 31st, 2017. Have a motion?
Make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Discussion. Item 1, $2,525 from clerk contractual, $5,700 from clerk supplies, $1,905 from election contractual, $4,200 from central garage contractual, with $13,905 into trustee special projects, and $425 to grant writer. Next item is $1,200 from street maintenance equipment into traffic control contractual. Next item is $2,600 out of fire supplies into fire contractual. Next item is $500 from Coopers Beach telephone to Coopers Beach contractual. Next item is $2,000 from zoning contractual, with $1,450 going to planning contractual and $550 to ARB contractual. Next item is $1,500 from zoning contractual, $6,400 from planning commission contractual, $2,425 from police utilities, $1,475 from claims, $2,550 from buildings contractual, $1,900 from buildings telephone, $4,450 from street maintenance miscellaneous, $3,425 from street maintenance overtime, $4,200 from ambulance contractual, street maintenance telephone, $3,800, $1,500 from fire marshal contractual, $1,100 from building inspectors contractual, with $25,400 going to radio opera personal, $8,250 into radio opera overtime, $625 into police contractual, and $450 to police equipment. Next item is $7,700 from street maintenance utilities going to street maintenance contractual, and $175 from street lighting electric into street lighting contractual, and the last one is $150 from building utilities into buildings clothing. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 4, resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following payments from the Capital Reserve Fund, subject to permissive referendum. Alliance System Integrators, $40,116.14 from Facilities Reserve. High Tech Fire and Safety, $7,299.06 from Fire Reserve. Can I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 5, resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves increasing the hourly salary of the filing lifeguards to $13.50 for becoming OSHA certified effective June 17, 2017. Jordan Nichols, Carolyn Oakland, and Hunter West. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And last one, resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby approves a salary increase to $14.50 an hour for Leela Nichols as a lifeguard at Cooper's Beach. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion as usually after 2 years, we increase them $1 an hour. Leela's been here for our 3rd season. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, last item is on discussion items. We have a barbecue request for Gin Lane Beach from 6 to 10 p.m. Only coming to you because it's over 100 people. We have 125 people being catered by Seasons. No valet, no music system. Just basically hamburgers, hot dogs on the beach.
What is Gin Lane Beach?
Gin Lane Beach, right down by Bathing Corp.
Oh,
Okay.
is that called Gin Lane Beach? I was thinking of the Zagawon.
There you go.
Think of it as
Right smack in the
Zagawon
middle.
Beach. Okay.
Well, we have a representative here.
Does anyone have any questions for me?
Why don't you come forward and
We're catering a not very small barbecue on the beach on August 4th for a local resident. I believe he lives on Hunting Street. We're not anticipating more than 60 or 70 people there at any one given time. We are only providing seating for 50. People have been instructed to park either in the lot or in front of the Bathing Corp and Dune Church.
What time does it start?
It starts at 7, but we're going to start setting up at 6,
And what night of the week is this?
Friday.
Is there music?
No. There isn't even a bonfire, actually, guys. It's just a grill.
are you going to provide porta potties or anything that?
No,
2 or 3.
we do not. There's 2 there already.
Okay.
Exciting.
There's parking conditions here, 5.
I asked for that for any staff that arrive early who may or may not have town stickers.
Okay, so you're looking for waivers?
Correct.
Okay.
Are there any other events on that day?
At that beach, no, you're not allowed to have more than one catered event at a beach per night.
Before it comes to me, Mimi
Yeah.
checks, she keeps the calendar on the beach events. I'm sure there are a lot this year.
I don't see any problem with it. You got adequate parking, and as long as you guys make sure you pick up after yourselves, which you usually do.
We try our best.
Now, are you going to go right in front, or are you going to go off to the side, because there is piping flow?
We usually go a little bit over to the side when the fence is up.
Yeah,
And again, it depends on which direction the wind is blowing. We try and make ourselves as out of the way for other beachgoers as well as the homeowners in the area.
okay. Because there is a piping plover fence.
Yes, there is. Fingers crossed it comes down this week, though.
I'd like a letter from your plover. Your mother
Tell me about it.
plover.
Any questions from the board?
No, I think it's fine with me.
So I make a motion to accept this application for a beach permit for seasons at Gin Beach, or Main Beach that I know it as.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks. You have a copy of this, right?
Yeah, I'll get it signed for you tomorrow.
Thanks. Yeah, Emily will be mine.
Got it. Sounds good.
Thank you.
And we come to our final comments from board members. So we start with Ms. Allen here. No comment?
Me?
Nancy?
I don't know what else to say other than, I don't really have that much to add.
Bill?
I'm not speechless. Something I would like you all to take a look at in the very near future, if you would. Something I've mentioned to Mark and I think even some of the rest of you, but I wish you would get down to the parking area, the problem we've had at Road A. And first of all, it changed today, at least to my knowledge, it changed today or yesterday. The sand is gone, and then they put some kind of what looks like topsoil, although I think they have another name for it. And I don't have any great objection to having some parking on Road A, but I know several weeks ago it got jammed up in there, and so we should decide what we want to do. If we want to let 5 or 6 cars, a single lane, depending on how wide you can make that road and what kind of a surface you can provide and whether people are going to get stuck in there. But the other thing that I definitely think we ought to consider doing, and I wish you would look at it right away, because if you decide to do it, why, it's going to benefit us this year. And that is, if you go down to T-Bone Landing, just to the west of that, there is a stretch of land that, when I went down today to look at Road A, there were 2 trucks parked in the part that it's very visible. It's hard packed, pale. It's not sandy. But it looks sandy. In any event, I think there's on the bay side, and there's room in there, I think, for 5 or 10 trucks, or vehicles, not trucks. And I think we ought to consider making that a sticker parking beach. I know we've been getting a lot of comment from citizens who would like to park on Road A, which I don't think it's a bad idea. I just think if you are going to do it, you've got to figure out what kind of a surface you want in there. I know that crushed marl, which is very innocent looking, means that nobody will get stuck in there. I think we're ending up in, potentially we may have a disaster if this court case goes against us, the number of people that can go to the beach and where they can go. In any event, if you could pick up these 8 or 10 parking places on the north side of Dune Road, and it's just sitting there begging to allow people to park there. And strangely enough, so anyhow, you would pick up, I don't know if you get enough room for 8 or 10 cars, but I'm sure Mr. Adam Chesky and all his pals would be very happy with that. And the other thing, just as I was driving back from it, I noticed if you go to the intersection with a Halsey Neck Lane, there is a huge area on the northeast side of, there's Halsey Neck Beach. There is usually the shoulders on the roads, they can be anywhere 3 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, something like that. There's a section there that's probably 20 feet deep before you come to vegetation. There's no house visible on that north side. There's a driveway which you'll see, which you can't, you could go near that. But there's room in there, particularly if you pull in like diagonal parking. And I talked to Gary about it. He says there's a good chance that we own probably a 50-foot stretch there, but I don't know how accurate that is. But it would be interesting to know how much of that is ours. And again, I would think that if you go in diagonally, then you can probably fit another 10 or 12 cars there. And people are going to use the standard parking because it's closer to the beach, but when you get those weekends where there are just, and again, it would have to be sticker parking. So I wish you'd take a look at it. And I wanted to ask Steve something else. Steve, do you have any idea what the lawsuit on the Buggy Beach has cost us so far? And what the estimate might be before we're all through?
I'd have to, I couldn't,
But isn't it a fairly substantial
it's been
amount?
going on a while, yeah.
And, I think that the five of us should consider going over and meeting with the town board. They were talking before the season began that they were going to create 2 more beaches, one on the Hampton Bay side of the inlet and one east of the village where vehicles would be allowed to park. And then on the last I heard about the Hampton Bays one, that there was a lawsuit against it and so on. I don't know if any progress is made and whether those plans were even for real. But Gary made an interesting comment to me today. He said that when he goes down to our current beach buggy beach, that there's so many people that he doesn't even recognize. And we've had, at 2 meetings ago, I know there was a guy from Flanders that had
Jeremy, but Jeremy grew up here. I mean, he went to high
No,
school here and
it's not that
everything.
he's-
Yeah, I know.
He's a wonderful person. But in other words, we're entertaining the town of Southampton almost. And first of all, we may lose it, but it would help our stature in the case if there were other such beaches in existence. And I thought they had picked out in Hampton Bays, it sounded easy to me because there's that stretch near the inlet just on the other side of the county park where there are no homes involved, so you're not going to get that kind of a, and I thought that was a shoo-in. And I don't know if any of you know whether that has happened or hasn't happened, but I was
Because
told.
we went to the town for that
Well, I
meeting.
met with them just recently,
Right.
just a couple days ago,
And?
that it isn't going to fly for them.
On either, so it's just us, and if we lose it, then that's the end of it.
I'm afraid so.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
what
know
it
if-
looks like. I mean, they're still trying, but it doesn't,
What was their excuse? The one in Hampton, I don't know where east of here they were
well,
talking
the
about.
one
but-
in Hampton Bays is actually a piece of property that the town trustees own. But even though they own it, there's an erosion district there, and they had a heavy pushback from them on any vehicles on the beach.
It's
So,
just normal piety?
yeah, normal.
Because,
So-
we've never, after all, we've had beach buggies on our beach since buggies were invented, and right after bugs were invented. And we've never caused anybody any real problems, and God knows those photographs showed that we were overtaxing the area that we've been using. And it would just, when you realize that, as Gary said, when he goes down to our beach anymore, he doesn't know anybody. There was a time when he knew, 68% of the people that were there. And it means we're entertaining everybody else, and we're spending a lot of money trying to defend it, and what we're really doing is helping the rest of the town. And I don't know whether, if we went 5 strong, whether or not we could make more of an impression on them. You can just give it some thought, but I'd certainly...
But I think when we had those meetings at the cultural center, so many people that we all know were at
Oh, yes.
those
Oh,
meetings,
sure.
all
This-
fighting for it. So
Yeah.
maybe when Gary goes down there,
Well-
he doesn't see them, but I think they're all there.
Well,
at
there's
least
still
on
plenty of
Sunday
people
anyway.
that we care about and know
Yeah.
about, but we're also, and I don't know what percentage of it are people that don't mean anything, but we're doing a real benefit for the town. Even the people that we know, Gary doesn't live in the village, and my son doesn't live in the village, although I don't think he goes there. But anyhow, I wish we could make some
I
impression on
think
them.
that the letter roads, the issue with the letter roads all came out of the town. I really do, because when we were at those meetings down on Pond Lane at the cultural center, and we suggested they put some pressure on the town trustees, and I think a whole group of them went over to the town trustees, and the town trustees started talking letter roads. And so now they feel that we should be opening up the letter roads for people to use them. So basically, they bounced the ball back into our court because they were getting such resistance from anyone about opening up any of those any of their beaches, town beaches, for drive-on. And so now they bounced it back to the letter roads.
How wide is Road A?
That's 50 feet in there.
50 feet? Doesn't that give you enough room that, you know?
Now, let me just make this comment on Road A. Road A was always a sandy path going up there. Then the fellow to the east did some landscaping, and he put in a road blend to get his vehicles in there.
His landscaping vehicles.
His landscaping vehicles. He just finished up some of his landscaping, and he was very nice, very respectful, and offered to remove the fill he put in there, which I had him do. That's why it looks at the way it is.
Change, right?
So he's brought it back to its natural state, which it should be, I think, personally. As far as parking in there, I think you will get a few vehicles in there. You know, I don't want to promote it for parking, but you still get a few vehicles in there. On the beach, on the bay side, that is a nice wide section in there. But I am very, very hesitant because that between Shinnecock Bay and the marsh there, that is a very, very fragile environment. And I would just hate to see vehicles parked along the bay side, mainly because of the oil drippings and who knows, antifreeze and whatever else comes off a vehicle, and you got very tender marsh grass in there, and you got Shinnecock Bay. So I'd like to keep them away from the bay, and the bay's right there. It's not like
Well, I've told you the story about what we did and what I just went ahead and did without consulting any of the proper authorities at so-called Dune Beach on the bay side, and it's closer to the bay, I think, than this is. And, you know, I think to myself, if you're worried about, like, drippings, which I guess do happen, but the funny part of it is, you look at, I've been up and down Dune Road 5 times in the last 3 weeks, and you don't ever see an oil patch. In other words, cars that are running on the road, they don't drip. And so you park the car and that's going to drip, you know, and if it does, how much are you talking about, and isn't it going to sink? I think if you put crushed marl in there, you can go out of the Main Street. There's no oil spots on Main Street or anything like that. So, you know, I think we're imagining a problem that doesn't occur. And I just think people getting to the beach, and boy, if we ever lose that darn beach buggy suit.
If we lose that beach buggy suit, we're going to have to reevaluate everything.
Yeah, but I think we ought to honestly try to accommodate as many people as we can. And you know what? If you did it and it turned out that you were right, that there were drippings, and you want to change it back, you make it sticker parking. 2 months later, you can take it down, or next year you can take it away. But I think some people like Mr. Adam Chesky, they see that we've got these additional areas, and yet access to them apparently is on bicycles or something like that. And I really think we ought to.
Yeah, we actually, Bill, we have pretty good access because you have Munns Point.
Yeah.
Munns Point's not only village, but it's also
But that doesn't
trustee
leak.
parking.
That doesn't leak into the bay.
Well, 'cause
Nobody
it's
worries
paved,
about that.
it's a paved area, and
Maybe
it's,
we should pave it, but if you look at Dune Beach, that's not paved. And we got somebody, after I left the board, made a diagonal parking, which further increased the number of cars that can park on the bay side, and it's more exposed to the bay. And if you had to put even some little form of a wall, or a 1 foot high wall of some sort to catch the supposed leakage, if things leak, why isn't Agawam Lake got oil all over the surface? Because so much road runoff does. I know we arrest as much of it as we can, but I just think the pressure is such that we ought to, every place we can find a parking place, we ought to certainly give it serious consideration. Anyhow, I'd like you to, and if you don't, you don't.
No, we can take a look at it, but the pressure is also on Shinnecock too, believe me.
The bay, you mean?
Absolutely. The Shinnecock Bay is...
Now, you're in the boating business. The GD boats leak more oil and gas into water than any car ever thought of doing.
They do, but that bay it needs every bit of help that it can get.
Okay, but
So, anything else?
I don't know how to make the parking signs, so I kind of have to wait. And anyhow, I do think, like Road A, how much parking could you fit in there? If it's 50 feet wide, does that allow you 2 single roads on either side of the middle?
Not as long, no.
No, but is it as wide as Road D?
No. No, it's not as long. And you probably, at max, would get 8 cars in there. They had 16 cars, and then nobody could get out.
Yeah, no,
so,
that's a bad situation, to just leave it to
yeah.
heaven, that you've got to have either marked parking or one-side parking, or, but you can't park side by side the way they did that weekend that it got so screwed up. But I think we should give it some thought. And I honestly, with the cars that park at Dune Beach, with a diagonal parking, I think it accommodates 30-some cars, and there's never been any complaint that I know of, or any indication that there's petroleum products leaking into the beach. And that crushed marl, that's what Bob Brown, the then highways guy, put in there, and it works great. Nobody's ever going to get stuck in it, because they don't have a four-wheel drive, and it looks very oceany, or beach-like. Anyhow, enough said. End of story.
Anything more?
Nope.
Okay, moving along. I just want to give a sincere thank you to the fire department. They had a busy week last week, and then they turned around and they had a practice rescue in the ocean, and all those guys came out over a weekend, spent first part of the day with chief in a swimming pool. Then they went down to the ocean and they tried a number of different scenario rescues. And the thing that you always find in practice runs like that are the smallest items. It looks great on paper, but it just sometimes doesn't work on the ocean. You get the sand, you get the waves, you get the wind. And I think they learned a lot. They saw that some of the saving devices they have were not effective on our ocean, and they dedicated a lot of time. And I thank them for their time dedication, but I also thank their employers, because so many of these volunteers doing a great job. It's also the employers that let these fellows go or let these gals go on a moment's notice, and it's a real community help that everybody comes together, employer, volunteer, and help us, and I certainly thank them all for that. We got a couple of things coming up this week. They're pretty exciting. The Southampton Cultural Center on Wednesday night has a concert at Cooper's Beach. I think it's Project Vibe at 6:30. It's pretty cool. And, seeing a concert at Cooper's Beach is kind of exciting. You can park there, Bill.
Don't drip.
It's free.
You won't find it, by the way, you won't find any oil spots in Cooper's parking lot.
That's because they all wash into Shinnecock.
Cars don't leak anymore. People do, but
And then on the final weekend of Viva Brooklyn's in the theater production, 39 Steps, which is a hilarious spoof on Alfred Hitchcock's thriller, is being held. That's a great event to capture if you got the time. And at the Southampton Arts Center, there's an opening reception on Friday evening of About Face exhibition presented by New York Academy of Art, which will be viewed through September 17th. There are several films this week, including 2 documentaries. The Last Dalai Lama, presented with Rogers Memorial Library on Thursday at 6 p.m. in the theater, and followed by a questions and answer session with the director. Great event to go to. And on Saturday evening, there'll be a special screening of the documentary Before the Flood. Here you go, Bill. A National Geographic presentation that follows Leonardo DiCaprio, a followed individual by many people, on a journey across 5 continents to witness climate change firsthand. Great. And then we haven't left out the kids. For the kids, there's a dance party outdoors on the lawn at 25 Jodes Lane on Thursday at 5:30 with Baby Loves Disco. DJ and dancing. Don't miss it. Great. You know, it's such a terrific community we all live in, and we really keep it active in the summer. There's a lot of events. It'd be great to see you guys at one of them. It's a big opportunity. I hope you all enjoy it. It's good stuff, and a lot of people worked hard to put it all together. And Julie's been running around like crazy this week. A little busy this week, Julie?
Just a touch.
We certainly thank you for your efforts. And with no further comments, public comment section, anybody from the public would like to make a comment? In that case, I make a motion to adjourn to executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters involving village employees.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.